Welcome to the Cookalong Club. I'm Harrod and this is Pip. And today we're going to make easy peasy flatbread pizzas. We're going to be using flour and yogurt and salt and oil to make the flatbreads, which can be changed into anything you want to. We'll talk about that later. But today we're going to make pizzas. So think very, very hot pan, very, very hot oven. Those two things. So reliable, responsible adults, we need you for this one. It's going to get messy. It's going to get messy hands. And before we even start, we need to do a digit check. So we need to check that you've got fingers and toes and eyes and noses, and that check at the end as well, so you haven't lost any, because that would be a disaster. Okay, so Pip, what goes into our flatbread pizzas? I think we need a bowl and I think we need a weighing scales. Is that right? Trusty, organised, like in your style. And we're going to use self-raising flour. So if you haven't got any self-raising flour, you can use plain flour and add a little bit of baking powder. You want these to be quite light and fluffy, and you can use plain flour, it's not a disaster either. So you want 100 grams. You can double the recipe easily, you can triple the recipe, whatever you want to do. So we're just going to start with the flour. We're going to add some oil, and we're going to add brilliant Greek yogurt. Don't even think about buying zero fat. You need the fat in there. This stuff is amazing. It's really, really good to use. It's really, really good for you. And this just brings a really nice element to your flatbread pizza bases. 4 tablespoons, so around about 200 grams of Greek yogurt. And then we're going to add some oil, and we're going to mix it with a spoon. So you don't need to faff around with this too much. It's quite robust. You just need to mix it. It doesn't need any kneading. You can leave it to rest if you want to. It gets better and better and better, but you don't need to. It's not like yeast. We don't need to wait for the yeast to activate. So this is a really, really good thing. 4 tablespoons. And look how unctuous that is. That is just incredible. So just putting self-raising flour into the bowl, we're adding 4 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, and then we'll add some oil and a little bit of salt. Salt's really important. I always forget to put it in, but it just umps that flavour. Not too much, just a little bit, just half a teaspoon, and that'll ump the flavour for you. So while that's stirring, I'm going to put this pan on. This pan needs to be scorching, ridiculous, scorching hot. So do get reliable, responsible adult to help you. Do make sure reliable, responsible adult is reliable and responsible. Both of those things, very important. Brilliant. We use rapeseed oil. Rapeseed oil is quite good value. It's British homegrown, British made. And it's quite good with high temperatures, whereas a lovely olive oil you tend to use to flavour the pizza after. This hasn't got too much flavour, but it's good for the temperatures we're going to use. And a nice big grind of salt. That's plenty. Perfect. Sneaky little shuffle then. It will, if you don't use it all, it will last in the fridge for a couple of days, and it's just delicious. If you're wanting pizza tonight, but tomorrow you may be having Indian, you could just add some cumin, you could add some turmeric, you could add some onion seed, and you're going to give it a really nice onion flavour, and you can cook it quite thickly, cook it on both sides, and suddenly you've got a naan bread. You could make like a pita bread as well, and you can use it as a wrap or as a pita pocket. So this is one of those recipes that is one type of bread, but you can use it really versatilely. It's nice watching her use her muscles, if I'm honest. Go on, Pip, use your muscles. So it's great just to mix it, and then we'll use some more flour on our hands to get it out of the bowl. It will all come together, and then we'll put it on the floured board and sort it. But let's put some flour on the board. You're going to turn this into 2?
I'm making mini ones.
You're making mini ones? Okay. Should we get it all out? So you can get it all out and put it on the board, and then it'll come together. Otherwise it's going to be super messy. The sort of thing that when I'm watching people making it, I'm really glad it's in their kitchen, not mine. There you go, you see how light it is already. It's just that yogurt. Yogurt's amazing. You can see normally you would have needed that for a good sort of 10-15 minutes using yeast. But look how light it is. Absolutely beautiful. I think so. Pip wants to make mini ones. You can make one big pizza. You can make tiny, teeny pizzas, whatever you want. But this is a great thing that, you know, everybody in the family can have what pizza they want, their food, their way. So for me, I'd want really spicy, chilies, nduja, things like that. My son would want pepperoni. Pip's gonna want her own ham. And sweet corn. It's always about the sweet corn. But you can use, you know, roasted tomatoes, you could use roasted vegetables, you can have goat's cheese, you can have blue cheese, you can have walnuts, you can have whatever. You know your pizzas. Walnuts and blue cheese is the thing. I suggest getting your dough as thin as you can for this. You're going to get a really crispy, really nice pizza. If you're making flatbreads, leave it thicker and cook it on both sides. We're just cooking it on the bottom for now, and then we're putting it into a scorchy oven. This is like putting it into a pizza oven, but you're doing it on your hob, and then you're putting it into your oven. So they both need to be really, really hot, but that's all you've got to do. So those ingredients, you're going to make 4 small sized pizzas. Double it, you're going to make bigger pizzas, or you're going to make 8 little pizzas. This pan is smoking now. I can literally see the smoke coming off it. Pip's going to go in, but be really, really careful, because if you do catch your hands on it, it's going to burn. If you're really careful, you can spread it out a bit more once it's in the pan. But what we're looking to do, you need to use your eyes now. You need to use your eyes and your noses, because what you're looking for is it to start to bubble and to cook through. So you'll see it changing colour and the bubbles coming through. So we want the bottom really scorchy, not quite burnt, but quite scorchy. And then we're going to put it on there, and we're going to put the toppings on this top bit, and we're going to put it into a really, really hot oven. So it's getting quite charry underneath, and it's just beginning to bubble. Okay, so you can just see it bubbling, and it's just beginning to change colour. You want this to cook, otherwise it's going to be a bit doughy, and you don't want a doughy pizza. It's like having a soggy bottom, isn't it?
Look.
But dry pan, I forgot to mention, you do need a dry pan. There's no oil or anything in here. That's really important. Okay, so that's number 1. Ideally, we want to go a bit thinner than that. Right, we're going to go in with a thin one. See how we get. There we go, that's better. You can feel it's thinner. There we go. So hot pan and a rolling pin really works. Okay, next job is to decorate them. Toppings are the most important part of a pizza, we think, because they've got to taste good. It's got to taste really good. So we've been trialling and you can use tomato puree. We think that's a really good topping, and it's quite cheap. It's just quite an intense flavour, so it does need quite a lot of cooking. So we think passata is actually our favourite. And you just need a tablespoon on your pizza, however much you need. You don't need a massive amount, but we think passata is the bomb. Probably a little bit too much on there, Pip, because again, it'll go a bit soggy. Pip likes normal ham, but I quite like these antipasto selections, because then you've got some really nice ham, you've got some prosciutto, you've got some salami, and you've got like a spicy salami as well. So if you've got a group of you, you've got quite a few options for your toppings, which I think are really good. It's also a really good opportunity to have a little taste of different things as well, because you might not know if you like salami or not. You might not know if you like it spicy. So having a little taste is a really good option. And then you can put any vegetables on that you want or you like, but then it's all about the cheese. Pip's going to put some ham on hers, and I'm going to put some, I think, pepperoni, and peppery pepperoni. That sounds really nice. So you don't need a massive amount. That's a good thing about pizzas. You don't need a massive amount of ingredients.
That one's mine.
You can just put bits on, and as you want them, you can decorate them into smiley faces. You can decorate them into grumpy faces. You can decorate them into animals. You can do whatever you like. And then a little bit of cheese. So I quite like to put the red Leicester on the bottom, or cheddar, whichever one. You don't need a massive amount. And then mozzarella. So mozzarella, when you taste it, it doesn't really taste of much. It's quite milky, I suppose, but when you tear it and put it on your pizza, it's just got the most amazing flavour, and it goes really nice and stringy and unctuous. Makes your pizza. Toppings are on. Flatbread pizza's ready to go in the oven. Let's do this, Pip.